Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host, Caliban, also the noob. Welcome to the soloist of Minako Jams.
That's right, and we're a couple of magical people ready to moon cosmic power make up this episode. Today we are talking about episode number 100, Sailor Senshi o Yamate, Minako no Nayami in Japanese. I want to quit being a sailor guardian, Minako's Dilemma, the English translation, and the English title, Individual Happiness.
It's so dry.
It's such
dry
a
as
bad
a bone.
title. My happiness, it's an individual.
But before,
What?
I feel like in the previous 99 episodes, we were, merely adding our own voices to the chorus. But we are fixing these things.
Mm-hmm.
We have to. They have, the throne is empty.
Yeah.
God is on vacation. And so
Yeah.
it is up to us to complete this process of giving
know.
some kind of clever title that, that excites you and goes, that was a good one. I gotta watch this.
I can't wait to check that out.
Individuals, priorities. Yes.
I am selfish, but not selfish.
Fastidious, living life.
Living life for one. Life
For one.
Life for one.
See, we can't help but take it towards the interesting. Do you know what I mean? One for the money.
Right. Cup of noodle life. I don't know.
Cup of noodle life. Cup of noodle life to you too.
Does kind of go with that, doesn't it?
Yeah. So anyway, we'll fix that at the end of the show. Well, it's kind of a feature of the beginning of Just Enough Trope episodes, but now we have to sadly do it at the beginning of a Sailor Noob episode. You're smiling, now you're laughing, and it's all going to come crashing down.
No,
when we talk about
I know what you're doing.
talk
I
about
didn't know at first. Now I know.
the death of Thierry Mueller at the age of 73.
Yes.
A fashion designer, amongst many other things, perfumier.
Yes.
Bodybuilder.
Uh-huh.
Who has passed away. We've talked about him, of course, before on the show, and how his work was, specifically his work in the 90s, was clearly influential on the works of Naoko Takeuchi. Mm-hmm. Or it's certainly the people who designed the anime and the show as well, I think. Trying to come up with all those.
All those designs that are inspired by him, she had in the manga.
Every single Yoma was in the manga, and therefore...
No.
Oh, okay, so maybe some of the Yoma also borrowed from that visual aesthetic.
Okay, fair enough.
But, yeah. Just like one of the classic... I mean, when you think about... here he goes. Everything's a commodity, right? Everything is bought and sold, and so fashion has always been, but when you go from, like, the Sears catalog or something like that... to what we think of today as the boom of fashion and European fashion becoming fast fashion in the 80s and 90s, and the explosion of the idea of supermodels and just the spectacle that was put on is like he's one of the main load-bearing pillars of that entire movement, that which has now become so is used into not only fashion but also just like popular culture and society that it's almost inextricable. Like you look at it and you go, yeah, of course. But you have to remember, there was a time before, there was a Linda Evangelista or a Naomi Campbell or whoever.
Right.
And this guy helped usher in all of that stuff to the point where a couple years ago, when you didn't have to wear a mask, Kim Kardashian is going to the Met Gala.
Right.
And she's wearing
the wet dress.
Yeah. The wet dress. Yeah.
That's what it's
which is apparently
nicknamed.
Yeah, I don't know, like apparently inspired by The Boy on the Dolphin, which is like a Italian movie from the 60s starring Sophia Loren. Where, she's a clam diver or something like that. But,
okay.
But anyway, guy.
You can get inspiration from anywhere.
He drew inspiration from many different places.
Yeah, and he also later on in his life he helped. He designed some outfits for both Beyonce and Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
You know, and like he did occasionally come out of retirement for design and like would do something for somebody he was like, oh, they're really cool, I want to design for them.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it was Cardi B has worn a couple of his dresses to like the Met Gala and other events, like the one that's inspired like by the Venus painting, like it looks like the women coming out of the shell with the pearl. That's so cool. I love that.
And he was somebody too who, you know, like I was saying before, like that line has blurred between, it's not like you're just Sheena Easton singing a song and then Jerry Hall is on the runway. That's all the same thing.
Yeah, you're
now.
Right. You're absolutely right.
So Cardi B, Beyonce, Lady Gaga, these people are the clothes horses for the fashion. They are the supermodels.
No, you're right.
So he wasn't he wasn't doing it to the level that he was previously, but when he did step in and do things, that's immediately where he went. He was making dresses for those people, realizing that they were the avatars of this avant-garde look that he was still pursuing.
Yeah.
And I also like the fact that he's just like, yeah, all right, I'm done with that. I'm going to drive a motorcycle around. I'm going to put on 100 pounds of muscle and
become a perfumier. How do you say it?
Perfumier?
Yeah, perfumier.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't know.
I don't know if that's true.
He designed perfumes.
Yeah.
And he did that for quite a while. I just think he's a fascinating guy. Well, I should say he was. And I was very, very sad to hear of his passing. I just was immediately struck by it because Sailor Moon aside, which I love the inspiration that that Nako Takeuchi took from his looks, and that's amazing and that's important to me.
Yeah.
But just like amazingly creative, and you see any of his looks and you're like, oh, that's a Mueller.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't feel like all designers are like that. You could see his spin, his take on things.
Yeah. So it's tragic. If you're interested in finding out, more about him or seeing his stuff, a lot of these shows for a lot of designers are just online now, like, anything on YouTube.
That's amazing.
Or maybe another site like Vimeo or something like that. But you can definitely search, like you can find, I think his entire 1995 show is online. That's the show with the robots and the motorcycle dress and a lot of his craziest stuff. He also, I mentioned this 50, 60 episodes ago probably, but he directed the video for George Michael's
That's right.
Too Funky.
Yes.
Which was post Freedom 90, which had a lot of supermodels in it as well. It was directed by David Fincher. But that was post like the Faith era, and George Michael wanted to step away from, he was getting sort of fed up with the idea of the image and him being like this hot thing for people to drool over. And so that's why he put, he wasn't even in the 90 video. And then he repeated that again by having supermodels and sort of a fashion show in the Too Funky video, which was directed by Mueller. So,
I mean, that's a good way to deal with it. Right?
Yeah.
Just take yourself out of the equation. Well, that
didn't make the label happy, but, he's still making the music. So there's that. There's also the, if you're interested in that world and want to get like a kind of a sense of it, there's the 1994, 1995. It's always one of two dates.
Yeah.
Robert Altman movie, Pret-a-Porter, which is all about the fashion industry. So it's a Robert Altman movie, which means a lot of talking and camera very slowly moving around.
Yes.
But then it has Mugler's in it.
Oh, that's cool.
Karl Lagerfeld, like he just went to Paris Fashion Week and like shot this movie with Tim Robbins and some other actors and stuff like that.
That's amazing.
So yeah, it's really a crazy film, but
I like Altman a lot too, but yeah, I just really sad of his passing, and just I felt this way even when I was like in high school, but 70 is way too young to. It's really young, I think. So it's just a huge loss, I feel like, for the world. So.
Yeah, and it's a weird, well, it's not weird. I mean, we've already called out why specifically we're talking about it, but it's a weird situation that we find ourselves in where this person passes and we've got an anime show, but
he inspired a lot of the looks that are on the anime show.
They go together.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Barrel's dress. I mean,
yeah.
Give me a break. And so many others. So I just, rest in peace, Mueller. I still enjoy looking at your work. So I guess that's the gift that you leave us with.
He's bodybuilding in heaven.
Aww.
Right, he's riding his motorcycle in heaven.
It's what he would have wanted.
You can just crash it and get right back up.
Oh my gosh.
So that's the bad news. The good news is we have a new Inner Senshi.
Yes.
On our Patreon.
That's awesome.
Sarah has joined us at the Inner Senshi level.
Hello, Sarah, and welcome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah, for coming aboard. Sarah is Canadian, or at least Sarah has Canadian money. And so, welcome.
One of these things is true.
to a new friend from the north.
We love our Canadian fans. We love our fans from all over the world. We're so happy to have you here and be a part of the team.
Yeah, that's really exciting, and it means something. It means that we owe the listeners a Q&A show. Way back when we started the Patreon,
yes.
And it says, "What goals do you want?" And I'm like, I don't know, make a bunch of content for people, hope they enjoy it. But it's like, well, let's have a goal. And so the goal was if we reached a certain amount, we would be doing a Q&A show for patrons and for fans. And so we are at that point.
That's amazing.
So what that means is we need questions from listeners.
Yes, please.
To put all these questions together. And then I guess plan is, within the sound of my voice, send us questions. We'll put them all together and do them for next week's show, the show after this.
Yeah, and we will take questions on our Discord, any of our socials. Any way you can reach us, we will take a question.
All the usual places that you can get in touch with us, Discord or on social media or through Patreon messaging. If you're a patron, just let us know what you'd like us to answer, and we'll try to throw everything together and do a Q&A.
I think that sounds like a lot of fun.
We'll give you the A's. Please give us Q's.
Please give us Q's.
I guess if there's no Q's, then there's no A's, and we just don't do it. But
I don't want that to happen. So please give us questions. Seriously, any question you can think of that you want to ask us, or you want to ask us about the show, we welcome it.
The veil will be lifted.
That's right.
You drop.
Should I say dun dun dun
or a kimono? You lift a veil.
Yes.
Right.
Correct.
No. Do you open a kimono? Where are we going with this?
You open and then you drop.
You stop your grinning and drop your linen. Is what you do. So linen will be dropped.
Oh my God! No.
So that's what we're looking for, questions, and you can get them to us on our Patreon at patreon.com/Sailor Noob.
So let's get this team practice started and do the synopsis for this episode.
Blow the whistle. Too short. And bring this to a start. Mika was never in sports.
No. Well, that's not entirely. I was barely in anything, but
what were you in?
I did softball for 2 years. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's sports.
Yeah.
Like in what capacity?
I was on the team in 5th and 6th grade.
5th and 6th grade. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right.
Well,
If you want to know more about Mika's softball career,
oh boy,
ask some questions. We begin our tale at Shiba Park Middle School, home of the Fighting Tanuki. We see Minako.
Wait, is it really?
No, I just.
That is. I'm sorry. I had to stop you because that was amazing.
We're not at Juban Jr. We're at a different school.
Yes.
We're at Minako's school. We see Minako Aino putting her books away after math class and listening to a couple. Well, sort of eavesdropping on a couple.
Yeah.
A boy and a girl talking about buying matching outfits from a store in Shibuya. Mm-hmm. At least the girl is talking about that. The boy thinks it might be a little tacky. Minako says under her breath, "Very tacky." The girl eventually convinces him to get one outfit, and he says, "It could be a memento of our time in middle school." which is sort of telegraphing that they plan on being together forever.
Uh-huh.
Let's get matching tattoos.
I know.
Oh, I saw a great deal on leg irons.
Whoa!
Your soul is mine. This is too much for Minako. She stands up purposefully, and we cut to the title card. And the last couple episodes, I feel like the show has really begun to use... They get it now, like the traditional structure of a teaser.
Yeah.
Right? Then title, then first act starts.
Yeah.
So that's we get where she is, give us the title. So I don't want to be a soldier anymore. Mm-hmm. And then here we go.
Yes.
Minako's heading home for the day. As she walks home, she's being continuously passed by happy couples on their way to fun activities. And she has just like a blank stare until she yells, "All right, stop showing off." Artemis appears out of nowhere. He's like, yeah, so we put all the data into the computer. But we don't know what kind of life form that we're up against, or really how they unite with objects to become demons. And Minako's just like, Minako, I know. 3rd year middle school student. I'm starting to have doubts about my life. And Artemis continues, yeah, I'm going to need some more information. And Mina's like, I'll tell you what I need. One who sees love will be seen by love. Huh, what's that from? And Artemis is like, it's from nothing. No one's ever said that. Proverb game again.
Yeah, of course.
We send out a call to any Japanese speakers. Help us solve the greatest mystery of our lives. What do all of these proverbs mean?
Yeah.
I looked up the dub script for this episode.
Yeah.
To see what Cloverway, or indeed Viz, in their new dub/sub, did with this. And we're listening to reading the new sub.
Yes.
The dub, she says, I wonder who's the famous poet who wrote all those love sonnets. They said something like, teen love is a wonderful thing. And
That's pretty good.
Artemis is like, I don't think they didn't say that. Yeah. So anyway, the answer was not there, but a good time was had by all. Minako says, I want a boy with roses to ask. And she plays out both sides of this. She gets down on one knee in a deep voice. She's like, will you be my date tonight? And then she switches back to the other side. When will that fateful encounter happen to me? Just then, no connection. A volleyball comes rolling out of the gym.
Yeah.
And Mina picks it up and sees Asai.
Yes.
A guy she knows. When I hear Asai, I think of Yoshihiro Asai, a.k.a. Ultimo Dragon. Ultimo Dragon. One of the greatest Japanese wrestlers of all time.
Nice.
And the creator of the Asai moonsault.
Which is what?
That's when you usually either top rope or on the ropes, you do a backflip and then land stomach down on your opponent on a press.
Oh my gosh, that sounds really painful.
And very dangerous.
Yeah.
And he was the master of it.
Wow.
He was so good he won the J Crown, which was basically, there's all these different weight division titles.
Sure.
And it's 8 belts. So he won 8 lower division belts that were eventually sort of combined into this thing called the J Crown. And you can watch him. There's a lot of videos of him on the internet, but there's a video of him wrestling Jushin Liger, who we talked about when we talked about wrestling. Mm-hmm. And his ring girls come out, and there's 8 of them, and they've got all 8 of his belts, and they come out before he does. And then he comes out and like, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's really awesome. Now call me crazy, but Ultimo Dragon's usual colors are like a sea green and a light blue. The same color as this kid's volleyball uniform.
Maybe.
So I'm not saying, but I'm saying.
Well, I mean, it's the first time we've seen their gym uniform or their
there's nothing to
volleyball
compare it
uniform
to.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and his name is Asai. So, and there's a lot of references in this show. So, in this particular episode, so I would not be surprised in the least.
Yeah. Well, let's go with that then.
Okay.
That explains why he jumps on the volleyball net and then flips over backwards. And that's his move. Minako bumps the ball back to him and he says, "Thank you."
I know.
A lot of casual English in this.
Yes.
Although I'm sure any friend of Mina probably picks it up from her because she does it all the time.
Yeah.
She asks him if, you're still into volleyball. And he says he's going to play through the summer because he wants a championship. And she's like, "Gambate."
Yes.
And he turns to go.
Which also means good luck.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he turns to go and he stops and he says, "Why did you quit volleyball after you came back from England? Your flying dig and flip was awesome." And we see a memory of Minako in the Shiba volleyball uniform doing a one-arm dig, diving down, full front flip at the end, completely impossible physically, but it looks cool.
It looks really cool.
Minako says, well, I wanted to continue, but... And she doesn't finish. And we see her face. We see Asai's face. We see Artemis's face. But Asai's manager says, come on back. Come back. He's like, well, I gotta go. He says goodbye. He goes back into the gym. And Artemis is like, Mina. And she looks at him, but he says, nothing. Forget about it.
I love that. I just like, you know her so well that you can just read everything that's happening, even though we've just met Asai.
Knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
First act. That's the first problem.
Yes.
What do you say and what do you do about it?
Yeah.
And setting up that tension and that unspoken emotion is what this episode is getting down to business to do.
Yeah.
Because we cut to Minako's house that night. She's getting ready for bed. She's got her PJs on. Mm-hmm. She takes her bow out of her hair. And as she's kind of like, fluffing her hair out in the mirror and just sort of looking in the mirror. And this is all really good cinematic syntax. Mm-hmm. This is what you see, exactly what you see in a film or a TV show where a character is lost in introspection, likely self-critical introspection.
Yeah.
Doesn't need a voiceover. We don't need to see floating images of Asai being like, you're really good.
Nope.
And her going, oh no. You don't have to get hit over the head with it.
Mm-mm.
It's really clear.
Yeah.
Kudos, kids show.
I know. It's great.
She sees her old volleyball on her shelf among her stuffed animals. We do get one flashback. We get a flashback, a memory of her playing volleyball with Asai. And we cut to her looking out of the window at the stars. And Artemis is looking at her like, am I going to have to find another Senshi of Love and Beauty?
Oh, no!
This one's a little shaky on the mission.
I know.
And as if to punctuate the poignancy of the scene, a shooting star crosses the sky. Mm-hmm. Smash to the basement lab, where Dr. Giggles is looking through a microscope.
Yes.
She's looking big, he's looking small. Kara may be worried about her job at this point. She brings Dr. G some tea and cookies.
I know, it's pretty great.
He stands up. His face is always in shadow, no matter where his head is. Mm-hmm. He's sitting down. His face is in shadow.
But yeah.
He stands up, face still in shadow.
Yep.
It is as if one shoulder and all of his head is just painted black.
Yeah, he's Elijah Wood's character from
yeah.
I think I said that
Kevin.
already. Yeah.
Although that's just because it's night. We do see Kevin's face
No,
sometimes.
you're right. Yeah. So yeah.
He says, tea is nice. When do I get some talismans? Maybe you're not doing a good job. And she's like, come in, Asai. And he takes a sip of the tea and he works out a kink in his neck and he says, all this research is tough on my body. Hey, wait a minute. They say healthy people have healthy hearts. Sportsmen.
Yeah.
Go after sportsmen. I'll get an egg ready. Maybe I'll get back into sports myself. And Karanite says, what sport do you enjoy, Professor? And he says, stepboard workouts.
I know.
That's the joke.
I know.
Not Taibo. Not aquarobics. Nothing funny. Just stepboard workouts.
Okay, so it falls a little flat.
That's the joke.
Yeah.
If you wanted to play up the religious angle, preacher curls.
Oh, sure.
Crucifix crunches. CrossFit.
Oh, better.
Right.
Best.
Shape your bod with God.
Yeah. Oh my God.
They don't do any of that. And it also smacks of that, like, oh, my boss has a good idea. Okay, good. I'll run out and do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, look, man, it isn't like we're finding people.
I know.
It's there's 7 girls that keep beating me up.
Well,
anyway,
I just wish
she's going to take her boss's suggestion.
I just wish we knew more about her at this point. I feel like the Dark Kingdom, the Kings, and the
Esmeralda had laughed her way
sisters.
into our hearts at this point.
I know. Like, we knew them more. We don't know much about her.
No.
So, anyways.
She doesn't wear a bra. We know that.
Yeah, we know that.
That's about it.
Lots of cleavage. She floats in the air. We know her powers. Her hair can do stuff.
I actually don't. I feel like I know her powers at all. Just to keep her blazer closed. Yes. The next day, Minako is on her way to school, and Asai runs up. And he says, "Wow, you're up early for someone who's always late." Rude. He also says, "Do you have a boyfriend?" And I have to mention here, cutting away from this important scene, that as they walk, they're passing some amazing stores and restaurants like PASTABELA and Twins Star Don't know what that is. And then also, Moro Hanako mode.
What?
Now, here's what that's what it is in English letters.
Sure.
Moro Hanako, Hanaco mode. Here's what I came up with. Maybe it's this, because Moro can mean many, several, various. It can just mean, more.
Okay,
couple.
Sure.
Hana, if it's Hanako, that's flower child.
Sure, yep.
And then mode is like fashion in French, like Depeche Mode.
Oh,
so maybe it's
that
like
could
a
be.
boutique. It's for flower children, but it's also, they're using a little French there. But then the whole thing's written in English, or at least in Western characters.
The Japanese, besides liking English a lot, they also love French.
That's true.
So I would not be surprised in the least.
Yeah. This is a bukkake of cross-cultural influences.
The twin stars, the only thing I can think of is there's like some characters in Sanrio they're these little kids and they're together and I think they're called like twin stars or star twins or something like that.
Huh.
But I kind of doubt that that's it. But that's the only thing I could even remotely think of.
What about...
Or Gemini? Maybe it means Gemini, twin stars.
Oh, yeah. Is that her birth sign? I don't know.
She is, I believe she's a Libra.
She's a Libra?
I believe so.
Oh, I love her even more.
I knew you would say that.
PASTABELA! She seems kind of embarrassed, and she asks, well, why? Why asking that? And he says, he's just wondering. And Artie looks worried.
Uh-huh.
Minako asks Asai, what's his type of girl? And he says, someone athletic. Sleazy. Demure. It's totally cool. They both look kind of embarrassed for a second, and he says, when I was a first year, I had a crush on you. You were already an ace. I was going to confess my feelings for you. And Mina stops. She's beet red for a second.
I know.
And she's like, oh, okay, you got me. Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one. But she seems unsure. And Asai looks at her and says, are you going to play volleyball anymore? And I don't know if he's talking about volleyball.
Yeah, he might not be.
This is all taking place in front of Tina Mary Cafe, which is a real tea room in Kanagawa Prefecture.
Really?
Where the entire show takes place. I looked this up.
Oh, that's cool.
It's, once again, there's Western Internet and Eastern Internet, so it's not always easy, but there are Google reviews for a Tina Mary Tea House Cafe. Small place, 20 seats. And I looked up this is a lot of information on Yahoo Maps in Japan, JP.
Wow.
But it opened in 1991. So
really?
It is completely contemporary.
That is so neat. That's cool. Well, I mean, the animators could always just stick a place in that they liked or they knew, you know?
Yeah, well, then PASTABELA. But I don't know what Tina Mary is. It sounds like Tony and Tina meets Arrested Development. Like, check out Tina Mary, Michael. She says, well, I'm already a third year. And he says, so what? Who cares? She says, I have such a busy schedule. And Asai says, that's too bad. And this whole time, Artemis is just looking at Mina with this confused look on his face. Like he does not know what's happening.
No.
He does not know if his life is going to be completely different in 10 minutes.
Right.
And Asai finally says, well, I've got morning practice. And he takes off. Later, at practice, while he is practicing some sets, we see Kaorinite watching him menacingly. Cut to Hikawa Shrine, and we hear Minako laughing maniacally.
Yeah.
Or menacingly. We see a schedule behind her that reads, exam study, snack, more studying, dinner, planning session. There's a note that says, like, all I do is eat.
Yeah, right.
And Minako is laughing her ass off at a funny manga. She says, check this out, Usagi. Usagi's half asleep. Mina grabs her head and says, look, it says, who is Sailor V? And Usagi's like, I know,
it's not even audible.
Minako drops her head on the table and says, see how pretty she is without her mask? I mean, that's totally accurate.
All the forced laughter.
Everyone's looking at her.
I know.
She's like, chill out, everyone. I brought you Sailor V diet chocolates and vitamin drinks.
Yep.
Which she doesn't get any royalties for, I'm assuming.
Or
maybe she does.
I don't know.
Maybe she's keeping that from the girls. Makoto opens her chocolate bar and she's like, it says I'm a winner. Minako's like, congratulations. 3 rappers get you a Sailor V badge. Ami's like, Minako, it seems like you're not making progress with your studies. And Minako's like, there we go, Professor Ami. Oh, Germinated, Professor. Mina's a bad girl who doesn't like to study. Sometimes I even cheat. Oh. She flops back and is totally quiet for a bit.
Uh-huh.
Looking up at the ceiling, she says, maybe I'll quit the Sailor Senshi for a while. And everybody's like, and she's like, I'm just kidding. Well, I'm heading out. And Artemis is like, Mina, wait. But Makoto says, whoa, Artie, check this out. And shows him like an open book.
Uh-huh.
And as he's looking away, Mina leaves. And he's like, what am I looking at? Maka closes the book and says, nothing. Luna tells him, you're insensitive. And Ray says, everybody wants to be alone sometimes. Mm-hmm. In Game Center Crown, Minako is playing God Driving.
Yep.
But she's in last place. And she crashes, leading to a game over. Haruka appears behind her and says, hey, what's up? You don't have your usual rhythm. Mm-hmm. Outside the arcade, the two walk down the street past Coffee and Tea Polo. That's very messy.
I don't know. They've had so many coffee and tea shops this season.
You've heard of water polo. Now,
Yeah.
Coffee and Tea Polo. So many scalded horses. Minako asks Haruka if she has a boyfriend. Haruka says, well, I already explained that. Plus, how hard do we want the Cloverway gremlins to work on this?
Yeah.
But Mina says, who would fall for a racing prodigy like you? Maybe a man with special abilities. Mm-hmm. They'd have to be really special, I think. Haruka stops and says, what are you asking exactly? Mm-hmm. And Mina says, what if you were an ordinary high school girl? Don't you feel like you're missing out? And Haruka says, are you not an ordinary high school girl? Mm-hmm. And Mina's like, oh, no, secret identity? No, I'm normal. Haruka says, I don't know what ordinary happiness is. I don't consider myself out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
I am who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Haruka fell in love with sports. That's what we're talking about here.
Right.
That's the only way I know how to live.
Mm-hmm.
I found something more important. Good enough?
Yeah.
This is about sports.
In
and about me
quotation
being
marks.
ordinary. And if we took all the finger-quoted words out,
Yes.
this could be from a queer as folk scene. Do you know what I mean?
I know.
Tell me that's not what's going on here, right?
I feel like
Mina's
it
talking
is.
about, it has the layer of, there's already, in the text already, it's two superheroes who are trying not to reveal, somebody asks probing questions and they immediately think, wait, is this person asking me if I'm don't you have special things to do? And they're like, no, that's not it. And then so one is saying, I don't know what I'm doing with my future and I feel like I'm throwing everything away. And the other one is saying, it seems like you're pointing out that I'm different than everybody else.
And I'm not really sure what you're getting at.
This is a cartoon in the 90s, so
Yeah.
I can only say so much about the choices that I've made and how most of them aren't choices, and this is just who I am. Mm-hmm. Isn't that what's going on?
I mean, it is what's going on. I wish that it was, it is the 90s, so you have to...
I am who I am.
Right, but I don't like this talk of quote-unquote ordinary. That bothers me, because what is... I guess...
It bothers Haruka, too.
What does that even mean, Compared to what? It comes across as being, very presumptuous and, heteronormative.
Right. Okay, all right. So that's Haruka's side. Mm-hmm. But she says that she's questioning the idea of ordinary. She's questioning a norm in the first place. That
That's
there
true.
is... She's blowing up normative. Mm-hmm. What is normative?
Right.
Mina is, like many superheroes before her, saying, what if I just want this life? I just want a normal life. I want to, give my friends vitamin drinks and
have a boyfriend,
and goof
maybe,
off,
or
and
date.
Flying, dig, and flip, and get a boyfriend and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so they are perfectly positioned to not help each other. Because
you're right.
Neither of them understand the full context of the conversation. One of them is looking for answers that the other one has, and the other one does not have a normal life. She might be more self-confident, and she might have her lifestyle together.
Right.
But she's also on this quest where she's willing to I will watch you drown to get one of these hearts. You know what I mean? So she is not in a good place. And the other one is I don't know what you're talking about. cute racing girl, but I'm going to go. I think this conversation is probably done. I hope everything works out for you. And she says that. She says, I got to go. Let's race against each other again. And she leaves, and Mina thinks, more important? What does she mean by she found something more important? Well, I'll tell you. Because Haruka meets up with Michiru, who says the seas are restless again, which, again, is some kind of code, but that's okay.
It's their code for talking about that, like, they sense a diamond is out and about, or, like, something's going to go down, or, when they don't want people to know they're talking about secret stuff, that's when she says it.
I still think it's a code. After all you said, once again, I think we can take out some of those words.
Okay.
She never gets
all right.
She never gets a text in the middle of a workday. Hey, the seas are restless again.
I mean,
when's lunch?
I like your read of it. I just never thought of it that way before. So, that's all I have to say.
I don't even remember what it was for. A commercial for a Polaroid camera, maybe, or maybe a commercial for deodorant or briefcases or something. But in the pre-text and MMS and email and image age, there was a commercial where guy's at work, right? And then he's going to give a presentation, and he opens up his briefcase, and it's full of commercial PG, like Polaroids of like his wife's legs or whatever, and then notes saying like, well, what time's lunch? Let's have lunch or something like that. And so he's like, But it's just so, I mean, like, I'm sure you could slip a curvy piece of wood into your caveman husband's pocket for when he goes out to hunt some deer or something like that.
Absolutely.
This stuff has always been going on, but
or a suggestive fruit.
But it's just so weird. The old man said how quickly we've gone from like, wow, this camera makes its own pictures to like, here is the entire Gutenberg Bible. Let me text that to you. Choop. There you go. Done. That night, Asai is still in the gym. He's really practicing.
Yeah.
And Minako is fixing her hair outside and preparing to go in when she sees another girl in a school uniform walk up to Asai and give him a kiss.
I know.
And the music is just like noodling and just stops. The music stops. And Mina's like, huh? And Asai says, we got a date on Sunday. And the girl's like, yeah. And she starts to leave. He goes to pick up another volleyball, and it explodes with light.
Yes.
It's a good thing he picked up the right one. Could have been here all night. It's morning the next day. Last volleyball in the hamper.
Yes.
Oh! No, but it's this one. A volleyball-themed demon appears.
Yes.
I guess. Let's just say that's what it is. And screams, Hykun!
Yes.
Minako gets out her compact and tells the other Senshi about the monster, and then she transforms. Although it's not as good as her live-action counterpart.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, which we just got to in Pretty Guardian Sailor Noobs. Our show where we watch the live-action Sailor Moon show on Patreon.
When everyone else's is like maybe 15 seconds, hers is like 25, 30.
Yeah. Rhythmic ribbon gymnastics and all.
Yes.
A lot of fightings in gyms this week for Sailor Noob.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also are in a similar situation in the episode that we just watched for Pretty Guardian Sailor Noob, so just so you know. Hykun serves a ball of energy at Asai and his girl, and he shoves her out of the way as the ball explodes.
Yeah.
A lot of explosions in gyms, too.
Yes.
Sending them flying. Just before the demon can attack, Sailor Venus appears on the gym stage, just like in that PGSM.
Good point.
Yep.
Yes.
I think that this is, because obviously this was all out by that time.
Yes.
So they're taking inspirations probably. Mm-hmm. And she said, no cross though.
No.
No Jesus on this one.
No, it's
weird,
not
though,
in church
because
grounds.
There should be some Jesus, right?
Because
that or Arnold Schwarzenegger should walk out.
Right.
It's easy, athletic. She says, I'm the pretty guardian of love and beauty, Sailor Venus. In the name of Venus, I'll punish you with love.
Yes.
Don't threaten me with a good time. But Hykun serves an energy ball at her. Venus shoots it down with a love me chain and says, that won't work on me. However, an energy net will work.
Yeah.
And it wraps up Venus, knocks her to the ground. Hykun says, net violation. You might have lived longer if you weren't a Sailor Senshi.
I love the net violation.
Yeah, right. Fault.
Yeah.
No, that would be a let, right? If it hits the net.
don't know all the volleyball terms. I'm going to be honest.
I know mostly tennis terms, but a lot of them are the same. She stalks toward Asai and she makes the 2-hand bump motion, which forms a star tattoo on her hands.
It's amazing.
Yeah. She steals Asai's heart crystal, and Venus can only watch helpless as Germinated appears. Kaori says, "Oh, this isn't a talisman after all. Hykun, kill Venus and the boy." Mm-hmm. Watching from outside is Usagi, who transforms into Sailor Moon. And as Hykun prepares to finish off Venus, a flying tiara cuts the net from Venus's body and returns to Sailor Moon, who says, "That was attack number 1.
Yep.
You only live once. Live to the fullest. In the name of the moon, I'll punish you." Germinated is like, "Hykun, handle this," and disappears. The demon takes Asai's heart crystal, forms an energy ball around it, and says, "Can you crush this?" And she serves it at Sailor Moon. And Sailor Moon's like, what do I do? But luckily, Sailor Jupiter bumps it, Mercury sets it up, and Mars jumps up and grabs it. That's not how you play volleyball.
She's just trying to, she doesn't care. She's like, no, fooling around.
You don't want to hit it back at the monster, but still, she just grabs it. That's a foul. Plus, Ami could have just grabbed it. Why does Ami set it up? She could have just grabbed it. We're done. Except
That's a good question.
They had to do the bump set and then grab. So
right.
If you're going to do it anyway. Hykun is like, "Okay, fine." And she waves her hands around like, "Hi, hi, hi, hi." And the ball starts flying around like on its own. She's controlling it. And all of a sudden you're like, "Whoa," and like duck under it. And the Senshis are at their wits' end. The moon says, "We can't return these serves." We cut to Venus. She looks at Asai, crumpled on the floor. She knows what she has to do. Mm-hmm. She says, "It's you and me, demon." Across the net, the demon says, "Ace serve, lightning bolt." And lightning crackles around her. And like she gets ready to serve, and she gets these like, when anime gets like real thick, cartoony lines.
Yes.
Suddenly it gets like really exaggerated. I don't know if that like means something specifically, but it definitely is like stylized. Like it looks kind of weird.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't know if it means something specific either.
Well, we get a serve from this demon, and she does everything except yo. But she's serving for the Japanese team here.
Yes.
She fires it off at Minako, who thinks to herself, "I am a Sailor Senshi. There are things only I can protect." Mm-hmm. And she gave us the old flying diggin flip.
Yes.
And Asai sees this and thinks, Sailor Venus is really ... Uh-huh. Mars catches the ball. Still not how you play.
It's Mars again. I didn't even notice.
But she's got it. And says, "Now, Sailor Moon." We get the MSHA, and Hykun is no more.
Yes.
But she says, "Go Japan." Yes. She dies. Yo.
Yes. She actually, so the translation that we watch, it just says "Go Japan," but she actually says "Go, go, go Japan." So she says it 3 times.
Go Gadget Japan.
Yeah, right.
The girls return Asai's heart. Presumably, we don't see it. And Venus gives us the V symbol and yay.
Yeah.
English. Yay. On the stage, because I said that before, right? This is like a school gymnasium, so there's also a stage.
Yes. On
the stage, literally waiting in the wings.
Yes.
Are Uranus and Neptune.
Yeah.
But they're like, I guess there's nothing for us to do.
Did it seem... I'll have to go back and rewatch it again, but it looked like there was one shot where it looked like the curtain was open and they were on either side.
Yeah,
then the next shot, the curtain, when it's Minako and the front, the curtain was closed.
Well, there's a curtain behind the front curtain. The main rag, as they call it.
Oh, I see. That wasn't immediately clear to me that was what was going on. Okay. Yeah. Got it. Cool.
Theater degree.
Don't you do that to me. Don't you diss me. It looked like you could see out into the audience.
But that's okay. Later, Minako is back in her school.
You can't see my face right now,
Later,
audience.
Minako's back in her school uniform, leaving class, let's say the next day. And she hears another couple making plans. But this time, it's Asai and blank. We don't know her name. We never find out her name.
Asai's girlfriend.
Girl.
Or friend who's a girl.
They see Minako. They go, "Hey," a lot of English.
Yes.
And Asai says, "If you ever see Sailor Venus, please thank her for saving me." And she says, "I do not know what you're talking about, but okay, I will do that." The couple leaves, and Minako laughs to herself before walking home. As she does, she hears a voice say, "Will you be my date tonight?" She looks up and she sees Artemis in a tree with a bouquet of red roses that he tosses down to her. She smiles up at him and says, "I'll think about it," and laughs.
I love it so much.
The perfect ending.
It really is. It
I mean, it's a little weird. She's literally a cat lady at this point. I mean, you can't create a boyfriend out of nothing, but like having it double down and the cat now making the faux romantic advances towards her. It's like, this just makes it worse. This is exactly the problem that I'm talking about. You eating all the fish eggs and me knitting and just watching you eat them and being like, this is it. Only 60 more years of this.
But I still think it's really sweet, though, because when at the beginning of the episode, when she was acting out what she wanted, he just was like, what the heck is going on with you? What's your problem? But he listened, and he's like, this will make her happy.
Yeah.
And I care about her.
No, that is, yes. And he is sentient.
Yeah.
And he's not just a cat. But it's
a little strange.
It's, you know what it's like? It's like, and maybe this is more of a TV thing than a movie thing. There's probably a movie like this, but it's like a high school, 16 Candles.
Yeah.
Doesn't like, she wants this boy, and she's not going to get, well, in the end of the movie, but like, he's not going with her. He's going with somebody else. And doesn't her dad at one point, doesn't give her a rose or something, but there's some kind of like conversation with her dad, right? Like I could see an after school special or like a movie or TV show where the girl is chasing some guy or some friend and they let her down, but the dad's there, you know?
Yeah.
He like picks her up in the car or something like that. And she's like, oh, thanks for listening and being there. It's kind of like that.
It is
only like an overt romantic gesture from a cat.
Yeah. Only like that. But it still almost makes me cry. I still think it's really, really sweet.
It is.
But anyways.
Did somebody say being a superhero is tough?
Yeah.
Because, oh boy, those plots are almost I always used to call these out, but they're almost exclusively given to Minako at this point.
Well,
Usagi is just
largely
living
Usagi.
her life. She is a girl who's a superhero. Her boyfriend is a superhero, and tests are the only problem that she's really got
now. Yeah.
Minako's like, we're talking about volleyball, but we're not talking about volleyball. We're talking about her decision to, spend all day or all night, fighting evil and then trying to be a schoolgirl still.
Yeah. And she's been doing it longer than any of the other Senshi have.
Yes. And she's talking to, Asai, and, he's like, when are you going to... He doesn't know that she's a superhero, but he's like, are you going to play volleyball still? And it's like explicitly coded as, I would like you more if I could see you.
Yeah.
If whatever it is that you're doing, if you stopped doing that and you started doing this again... Maybe
we could date.
Right.
He
even says like, oh, I like athletic girls. Wink,
That's
wink.
a big freaking hint.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think she's kind of frustrated with that, but at the same time,
This is the temptation of the Mina.
Yeah. Oh. You're just gonna...
I just gave my title away.
Aww.
Damn.
That's really good. Yeah, it is, because she just she kind of likes him too, and and she's frustrated that she can't be a quote unquote ordinary girl, or just not, that she can't just have a life and be a teenager, essentially.
Yeah.
And she wants to play volleyball and she's good at it, but the thing I think is interesting is that he specifically says you stopped playing after you came back from England. So it's not, she was Sailor V before then, I'm pretty sure. But like when she came back from England, she's like, I feel like maybe that experience was so traumatic for her. That,
possibly. We also don't really know how much time elapsed from her returning from England and then
that's true.
Meeting up with the Sailor Senshi during the Dark Kingdom saga.
That's true too. That is also, yeah.
But we do know that, Sailor V was tooling around and stopping crimes and enough to get her own anime show and video game and stuff like that. Now, she might have been doing that before, then studied abroad in England And, you know, it's always weird when like, oh, whoa, it's Spider-Man here in Notting Hill.
Right.
Like,
right. Exactly.
If anybody checks it looks like Peter Parker flew out of LaGuardia
That's
to
weird.
Heathrow. Strange.
Yeah.
Yes. I work for AIM. And like she loves her friends, but her friends are in the same boat. The only thing that she can do is talk to the pants-wearing, like, older girl who seems to have it all together, not knowing that she, dramatically, ironically, is talking to somebody who has the same problems that she does. She
does. She doesn't question it as much that we see.
Yeah.
But she definitely has the same problems.
She questioned it last week.
Well, okay, that's true. She questions it, but she, you know, like, I feel like she's more confident about it. She's not as, and she comes across as more confident too. And I think that her and Michiru, they're only a year older, but they seem so much more older than the other girls. They seem like, wow, you know, these senpai, they're, you know, they really have it together with their rose petals and their music and
their orange juggling. And,
yeah.
And everything in the episode is well pointed to point us back to that conflict, and even to the point where the this is a weird thing for the Yoma that's trying to kill her to say, but like, you know, as she's about to kill her, she's like, "Well, you might have lived a long life if you hadn't been a superhero."
Oh, you're right.
That's something that like could be internal monologue for Minako.
Yeah.
But instead, you know, the bad guy's just externalizing that.
Yeah.
And then like as she is experiencing all these things, it like again, like it doesn't, you know, voiceover is a crutch. Like they don't go to that. She goes to the study session, which has become the sort of petri dish for all the issues this year.
Oh my gosh.
Which even though, you know, I always feel like their main conflict is it's clumsy, but I understand now why it's clumsy, because it is the chance for us to see what the problem is. So stay away from me. I don't like you anymore.
Yeah.
Every single episode for the first 20 episodes of this is like, we just got to study. We're going to study. But then it's like Cheers. Everybody walks into Cheers.
Yeah.
And this week, Frasier and Lilith are going to have a baby. And this week, Sam's, you know, one of his ex-wives comes back, you know, or like Robin Concord is there. I know a lot about Cheers.
You do.
Or they're having the contest for the best barmaid, and, you know, Carla really wants to win it.
Yes.
Anyway, enough of Cheers. But in this, it's like, you know, now she's, you know, feeling desperate. And so this is how desperate she is. She's reading her own comic book. That's pretty desperate. And
it is pretty desperate. And she's laughing really loud. And she, like, not only is she reading her own comic book at the study session, she also brought diet chocolate and vitamin drinks that are Sailor V for everybody.
She brought her branded merchandise in.
Yeah. And then I love, it's so tiny, but like she's just overcompensating for how incredibly unhappy and conflicted she feels right now with trying to put on this joyous facade, and it's exhausting. And like, I love when like Mako's like, it says I won, and then she's like, oh, then she just tells her,
a winner is you.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, yay, lucky.
Yeah. And the characterization of the main characters is so good that she could only, they all have this in some way, but only she could express it or experience it this way. If this happened to Asagi, everybody would know about it. She'd be whining at the top of her lungs.
No, you're
right. Ami
right.
would swallow it all the way down to that pit in her stomach where all that stuff is. And Ray would probably, you know, get kind of mad about it. And maybe it would come out after she tried to repress it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I think Makoto might just pull somebody aside and start talking about it, you know?
Yeah.
But like Mina's thing is like, well, I'm like fun and happy. And so I have to be fun and happy, which
all
means I'm not going to think about this. I'm the fun, happy one.
So when in that scene, when she's just like high emotion, you know, talking, high energy and everything. And then all of a sudden she lays back and is like,
single gunshot.
Right, no. And she's like, maybe I won't be a Sailor Senshi anymore. It's just so pin drop. Yeah. You know, it's just gut wrenching, and everybody is shocked and it's the right tone, and then she just gets up and she leaves. She's like, well, I don't feel like studying, so I'm going to go. And
I like that idea. It's something that I haven't thought about before, which is I think a couple of the Senshi feel like they can't fail or just be kids because of what they've accomplished, like Ami, or like the Rei's trying to accomplish her goal of becoming a priest or be pure or whatever.
Yeah, right.
Whereas it's not like Minako hasn't accomplished anything, but I really just think that I don't know. It feels like a long game that the show's been playing because I feel like if we're not getting Minako characterization, we're getting her being compared to Usagi, and they're doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, a lot of the time.
And so it's like, well, what is there to do? And then this episode, I realized, that isn't. Some of that's a facade, because some of it is just, I guess I don't have a mentor role to these girls, even though I've been doing this longer than them. So I don't have that. I'm not the smartest. I'm not the most active or athletic or whatever. I cut myself when I tried to cut the carrots. So I guess I'm going to be the fun one. Mm-hmm. Right. And so that's the thing that she has to live up to. And when she's feeling this kind of thing, she could easily just drop her book bag and sit down and go, can we talk? But she can't even, do that.
I think maybe because she feels like she has to be fun and on all the time. Yeah. I should mention, in the manga, she is the leader of the Senshi, but for whatever reason, that didn't come over to...
And in Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon,
yes,
the live-action series.
Yes, absolutely.
Which we talk about.
Yeah, on Patreon.
On our Patreon.
Yeah. So you can go check that out. We just started talking about
she yelled at
PGSM
Rei
again.
For worrying about her well-being.
Who yells at Rei? Well, nobody.
The volleyball coach. That's not how you play. Backtracking is back for an all-new season. Hi, I'm Caliban.
And I'm Gooey Fame.
And we'd like to introduce you to Backtracking, the podcast that explores the real-world inspirations behind your favorite episodes of Star Trek.
From historical events to classical literature to blockbuster films, we go where no pod has gone before to seek out the origins of classic Trek tales.
Did you know, Gooey, that the TNG episode Too Short a Season was an allegory for the Iran-Contra affair?
Yeah, only sweatier. Did you know that the Enterprise episode Regeneration was an homage to the John Carpenter film The Thing?
Archer and T'Pol freezing to death over a bottle of whiskey would have been a controversial ending.
As a dog lover, Archer would not like The Thing, I'm guessing.
Oh my god, movie night is canceled. Join us every other Thursday for a journey back to the beginnings of the Trek universe.
Backtracking is available wherever you get your podcasts.
No, Porthos!
For Kyoro Miru, or Curiously Looking Around, where we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, today we are going to be talking about volleyball in Japan.
I had a feeling.
Yeah. So, just wanted to give a little brief history. Volleyball was invented in 1895 by William G. Morgan, who was an instructor at the Young Men's Christian Association, YMCA, in Holyoke, Massachusetts. Morgan wanted to create a new game that would work well within his classes and had less physical contact than basketball. To create this game, he combined elements of basketball, baseball, tennis, and handball. So that was in 1895. In 19
And it was called?
It was Mintonet, and then they were playing it. And somebody was like, "Seems
this
like
is
they're
dumb."
Somebody was like, "They're volleying over the net," and he was like, "Wait a minute!
God damn it!
Second time!" Several years later, in 1908, volleyball was introduced to Japan by Hyozo Omori, who was a Japanese physical education specialist who studied in Springfield, Massachusetts, as a YMCA exchange student. Omori also introduced basketball to Japan, so introduced a lot of sports to Japan from the U.S. In 1918, the first high school championship was played in Japan. And in 1927, the Japan Volleyball Association, or JVA, was founded, and within the same year, 9 men's competitions were put together. JVA has been a member of FIVB, or FIVB, or Fédération Internationale de Volleyball, since 1951. It's French. JVA organizes both the men's and women's national volleyball teams for Japan. The popularity of volleyball in Japan can be traced back to the Japanese women's volleyball team, who in 1961 won 24 consecutive games against other national teams on their expedition to Europe.
So they just crushed Europe.
Yeah. And they made headlines worldwide, and the Russian newspaper Pravda gave them the nickname Toyo no Majo, or Oriental Witches, or the Witches of the Orient, and
Right.
It stuck.
Which was, okay then. They don't really say that now, but yeah.
No, we don't really say that now, but they kind of wore it as a badge of honor.
Sure.
Their ferocity.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
their...
I feel like you're going to call us volley bitches? We got
All
shirts
right,
made up that said
step
volley
up.
bitches. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Exactly. And the coach of this team was Hirofumi Daimatsu, who was previously a commander in the Japanese army during World War II.
This is a movie. Where's the movie?
Maybe there is a movie in Japanese, but
This is the movie.
It really is a movie.
Private Diggin Flip.
Yeah, right.
Right? It's like a cool
Yes.
it's like a cool running situation where, and you just fudge the history, but where it's like, we want to get into this volleyball thing, but these girls don't even know they're trying to dribble the ball.
Right.
And this guy comes in, all right, you maggots.
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, he was a drill sergeant.
Yeah.
He was.
There's a I think it's Japan Times. There's like a big article about this kind of stuff, and I was just kind of flipping through it before, and they said that his training was called Setsujin Taiso, which meant homicidal training.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I read other things. I think I've read stuff that was like they were trying to make it sound nicer. They're like, he had a very severe training style.
Which is the Japanese way.
Yes.
But I like the fact that this is like, we cut to the, I don't give a damn.
Right.
It's like, they're like, we
could do this.
We want this torture.
Yeah,
Let's do this.
Yeah, exactly. So he began coaching this team in 1953, and they were a factory volleyball team at Dai Nippon Spinning Co. Limited, which was later called Nichibo and thereafter Unitica, in Kaizuka, Osaka. So the official team name was Nichibo Kaizuka. So Nichibo for the factory and Kaizuka for the part of Osaka that they were in. And by 1959, the team had won 175 games in a row.
It's not even a question.
I know. In 1960, the year before their European tour, Nichibo Kaizuka won the silver medal in the World Championship, losing only one match to the Soviet Union. And there's kind of a rivalry between the female Soviet Union and the Japanese female team for volleyball at this time. And the Soviet Union has been, at this point, winning a lot of stuff as far as volleyball goes. Like they know their stuff. They're good at it. But 2 years later, the Japanese team, they won the gold medal in the World Championship in Moscow. So that was a big coup.
This is
right?
Queen's Gambit, volleyball style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It totally is. And Daimatsu said to beat the Soviets...
You have to be the Soviets.
Well, he said we had to practice 1.5 times more than the Soviets. Mental discipline lies at the heart of the amateur sports spirit. Right. And
also big ups.
Right.
Because these girls are like 5'5", 5'6", maybe. Right. It's like for a volleyball player, you have to be able to jump really high, I suppose. Maybe they have that instead of being tall.
Right. I mean, probably. And reportedly, they practiced 10 to 12 hours a day, and that was after their full shift at the factory. So this is like super intense. Daimatsu, I mean, he just was relentless, and he got the nickname Demon Daimatsu. So yeah, his team did have nice things to say about him. Like, you know, it wasn't like all like horrible and miserable and stuff like that. Like, we learned a lot, but it was very intense. And nobody's going to argue that point. Volleyball was included in the Olympics for the first time in 1964 in Tokyo. This also marked the first time that Japan had hosted the Olympics. So this was a huge deal. There was a lot of pressure. And yeah.
The second act.
One of the, I think it was the team captain, she wanted to, retire after they had won one of their tournaments and felt all this pressure to continue. I think it was one of the world championships, to continue to play until the Olympics. And so she had to put off getting married because there was all this pressure, not just from her Daimatsu, but from Japan at large, for her to continue and for everyone to continue. So everyone decided, okay, we're gonna do this.
Okay, this is Rinko Kikuchi.
Oh, you're casting right now.
Yeah. we get to Ken Watanabe.
Oh,
all right. He's the coach.
He's the coach for sure. Yeah.
Okay. And then there's one.
Who's Keiko Kitagawa?
She's the pretty girl on the team.
Okay.
There's one girl that's like, I don't really want. I'm just here for the flashing lights and stuff like that, and the pictures and everything. But then she learns to dig hard.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I like it. So in 1964, at the Olympic Games, Nichibo Kazuka won the gold medal in women's volleyball, beating the Soviet Union with a score of 14-9. This was an event. I cannot stress that enough. The majority of Japan was tuning in to watch the final match between Japan and the Soviet Union. And according to Japanese broadcaster NHK, the ratings during the match was over 80% of Japan's population.
The top blew off the Tokyo TV tower.
Seriously.
This is it. This is miracle.
Yeah,
right. Like, this is their story. Yeah,
yeah,
it's like in Japan, first Olympics in Japan. Probably the first like major, TV event. Yeah, it's 1964. Everybody's got a TV and they're watching this. They win the gold medal. Yeah. Forget about it.
I know. And they continue to do well.
Who do I talk to about this?
I know.
I can't believe this doesn't exist.
I know. They continue to do well for
and
the
you
next
call it
couple
witches?
years.
Well, you don't call it witches of the Orient. What do you call it? Volley bitches.
Volley witches?
Well,
we'll workshop that.
right, go ahead.
It's a little charged.
Factory girls. No, there's already a factory girl.
I'm not good at this.
Deep dishing the dig with a pancake.
Set for gold. I don't
Everybody's
know.
in a campfire.
What?
These are all volleyball terms.
Okay, this shows you what I know. So the women's team continued to dominate. The Japanese men's volleyball team,
Campfire girls.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay.
That's okay.
All right. We got it. We can move on.
You write it down.
We got it.
All right.
It's Campfire girls.
The men's team, they're still did pretty well, but they're not at the same level as the women's team. The Japanese men's volleyball team, at the 1964 games, so nothing to sniff at all. They took home the bronze medal the same year, but they just don't have like the same. They didn't like stay on top or close to the top for as long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Nichibo Kazuka's massive win brought a huge wave of popularity in volleyball, which is, completely understandable to Japan. And I think, it was kind of, a lot of national pride too. And both to play the game as well as forms of entertainment around the sport. Did somebody say volleyball manga? Because that's what happened. There was a lot of volleyball manga, and one of the most well-known ones is a manga called Sign Wa V, or I've seen it translated a couple different ways. Like our sign is V or the sign is V. Oh. By manga artist Akira Mochizuki. who did both the story and the art. And it came out in 1968, just 4 years after the gold medal win at the Olympics. And it was 9 tankobon volumes. And Our Sign is V is a shoujo sports manga that follows a high school volleyball team. And it kind of stayed away from... it kind of focused more on like the sports, and it wasn't a lot about romance and like a lot of other like shoujo tropes and that sort of thing. So it was, praised a lot for that. The manga was so popular that it was adapted into a live action TV series in 1969, and then again in 1973 with a sequel series set 4 years later with a brand new cast.
Okay. So this movie exists. It's just Japanese.
I guess, but this is like high school. This isn't like the Olympics, It's a little different.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, this probably exists. Like, the thing that I want to make, it already exists. That's okay.
I guess, but I think you would think that, like, Hollywood would eat that up too. Because it's just such a great story.
Yeah, you have to change it though. Like, the coach is white, and so he's Mr. Volleyball comes to Japan, and he's played by Liam Neeson, and he's like, I don't know about these girls. I've got to teach them a particular set of skills.
Well, I'd rather see
okay. Look,
the
I'm
Japanese
not saying
version.
Yeah, right.
I know. But the main character is Yumi Asaoka, who is a very talented volleyball player, but she lost her sister while she was practicing volleyball, and because of that, she stopped playing and doesn't want to play anymore. And she kind of hates the sport, but she is scouted to join this new strict volleyball club at her school, and she decides to give volleyball a try again, and she's not sure if she's going to like it or not. So,
sure.
Yeah. But I wanted to mention that Minako is depicted as playing volleyball quite a bit in the manga codename Sailor V. So I think it's awesome that they brought that in and they adapted it into the anime. Because we see her in codename and she's very athletic, but volleyball is her sport.
Yeah, and the V and everything. And...
Yes.
Okay, so so this isn't exactly shattering the dream. This is just the dream will be out of reach. But in 2021, last year,
yes,
a documentary was released called The Witches of the Orient.
Okay.
Featuring interviews with some of the players that were on the team.
That's cool.
Also, Masai Kasai.
Okay.
Who passed away in 2013.
And she was
she's very old.
Yeah, and she was the leader.
So first of all, gotta watch this documentary.
That
Second
sounds
of
amazing.
all, gotta get in touch with the producer. Start working this up.
Like, make this story happen. I completely agree.
I should say that The Witches of the Orient, or Les Sorcières l'Orient, is on Mubi.
Oh.
So if anybody wants to watch it, you can see it on Mubi.
The documentary. All right.
Yep.
Great. Crack up that movie and crack up that movie. Fire it up.
Crack up that movie.
What do you say when you're streaming these days? I don't know.
You don't say crack up that movie. I know that.
So going back to volleyball in the real world, the historical volleyball, in 1967, the Women's World Championship was held in Tokyo and was once again won by Japan, so the same team. And Japan went on to win the championship again in 1974 when the tournament was in Mexico. So again, they just dominated at this time.
Nice.
And the women's national volleyball team has achieved Olympic podium placements multiple times after 1964, including another gold medal in 1972. And in 1972, the Japanese men's team won the gold medal at Munich as well. So they dominated that year. Wow. Initially, the World Cup was to be held in the year following the Olympic Games. The tournament started in 1965, and the first two tournaments were for men's volleyball only. In 1973, a women's tournament was introduced, and originally each tournament had a different host country, but in 1977, the competition was transferred to Japan on a permanent basis. So it is now, every time it happens, it's in Japan. The first edition of the women's volleyball tournament was won by the Soviet Union. Japan was the runner-up in 1973. Japan was the runner-up in 1973, but they won the championship in 1977. Japan's men's team were the runners-up in 1969 and 1977, but have never won the championship. And 12 national teams from different countries compete in each World Cup. As the host country, I think this is kind of interesting, Japan is always pre-qualified, and so they always compete.
Sure.
And the World Cup is one of the qualification events for the Olympics. So it doesn't mean that they'll get through to the Olympics. It just means they always have the chance to.
Right.
You know, even if they're not doing so well. And the Japan women's national volleyball team, or All Japan women's volleyball team, is currently ranked 9th in the world by FIVE, the International Volleyball Association. And volleyball remains really popular in Japan today. Last year, so in 2021, Simeji, a text entry app for phones, asked its school-age users ages 10 to 19 which school club they wanted to join. And they collected 2,690 different responses and put a list together of the top 10. Volleyball was ranked number 3 and was beat only by number 2, dance, and number 1, kikakubu, which literally means going home club. Or in other words, not participating in a club and being able to have more time devoted to studying, cram school, hobbies, etc.
Right.
I didn't even know this was a possibility.
I choose no choice.
Yes, I choose no club. That's the one I want. So I think that that's really cool. And I think aptly, I guess in 2000 they were kind of doing a look back, but Japan's women's team from 1960 to 1965 are declared the 20th century best volleyball team for women's volleyball. So
it's like the 72 Dolphins of volleyball.
Yes, exactly. So that's pretty cool. I did want to mention, but this isn't really much of a story. I went to the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta, and I did see Japan's women's volleyball team compete. And I have pictures from very far away. But because we were in the nosebleeds, but I can't for the life of me find them right now. And I don't remember who they were playing.
Great.
And I don't know what the score was or anything. So this is really great. But I saw them. So... But it wasn't, the Witches of the Orient.
Yeah, I yelled out, "Go, you Witches of the Orient!" Everybody looked at me really funny. It was uncomfortable.
It was very awkward.
They didn't get it.
Yeah.
They didn't get it.
That's okay.
Yeah.
To each their own. So, yeah, volleyball.
Well, we have to add Hykun, the volleyball anime, to our animatification list.
I was going to talk about that when we talked about it, about the Daimon. But yeah, there is an anime manga series called Hykun, and it's really popular. And the story follows Shoyo Hinata, a boy determined to become a great volleyball player despite his small stature. So I'm very short,
of course,
but I'm gonna make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Well,
why not Princess of Tennis?
It can't all be girl sports manga and animes. There have to be some boy ones too. So, we got our Saiwa V, and there's some other ones out there too. So, Itadakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? As you mentioned, Kaori Knight brought the professor some cookies and tea.
Yes.
And then Minako brings Sailor V diet chocolate and Sailor V vitamin drinks for everyone in the study group to share. And it also kind of looks like maybe there's some cookies to share too. But I wanted to talk a little bit about diet chocolate and vitamin drinks.
All right.
So I swear when I was in Japan, I saw a fair amount of diet chocolate or diet chocolate advertisements, but I couldn't find as many examples as I thought I could, as I thought I would. And I was looking specifically for the word diet, because that's how, it was, I remember it being marketed.
Yeah.
Diet chocolate is marketed to be healthier and or assist with weight loss. Generally speaking, it has less sugar and often has a calorie reduction compared to conventional chocolate. So you're not necessarily going to want to eat as much of it, sort of, too, and it's going to fill you up.
Okay. So it's just like, this isn't like a laxative chocolate X-Lax situation.
No.
Okay.
No, it's not. DHC Corporation, which makes a lot of products, some that are marketed as healthy foods, they have a line of chocolate bars that are in their Dieto Programu, or diet program. It said that on the label with a little measuring tape. I'm like, oh gosh, here we go. Which on the website I found it on was also listed as a supplement. I'm not entirely sure what that means.
Yeah.
But they are the DHC germinated brown rice bars, and they contain germinated puffed brown rice, which is supposed to have a lot of fiber, I guess.
Yeah.
And they're like a couple different kinds, and they have like dried fruit and nuts and that sort of thing. I mean, they look like they could be okay. I don't know.
We'll see.
DHC also sells a protein diet cake. These are cake mixes that you add water to and microwave in like a ceramic cup, but these are supposed to be a meal replacement. So this is like, think of your diet shakes, and that sort of thing. Your Slim Fast. Yeah. That's what this is like. So, and I think this is kind of somewhat related, and this is maybe also something that people will recognize. Perhaps the most well-known meal replacement is Calorie Mate.
Yes. Which
has the crumbly consistency of shortbread, but from what I understand, doesn't taste super great. I think this is in Metal Gear Solid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I can't remember if he was doing it before or if it was connected to, maybe this is how he got the job, but Kiefer Sutherland did a series of Calorie Mate commercials.
Yes.
Based probably off his 24 fame. So there's a lot of like, I think you can actually have guns in Japanese commercials. So like a helicopter, comes out and like 4 guys rappel down, and he's like, we got to get to the thing. But first we need the energy of Calorie Mate.
My favorite one of that series was when he's on a crowded train in Japan, and it's all these Japanese schoolgirls, and they're trying to stop him, and he's like, oh, I need this energy.
Neck snap.
Exactly.
Pushes one in front of the train. And then, of course,
Calorie Mate.
Yeah. And they've always been a factor ever since Metal Gear Solid 3, where they introduced eating, they had Calorie Mate. That came out in like 2000 something. Anyway, the point is that
it's been around for a long time.
Later, Kiefer Sutherland became the voice of the main character of.
Oh, that is really funny.
So,
right.
And they always record hours and hours and hours of dialogue for those games, for tapes and things that you find. And so there must be an inside joke somewhere in there. He's like, oh, Calorie Mate, this is pretty good.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Keeps my weight down.
And this is like, they're different flavors, but they do have a chocolate flavor. That's one reason why I included it. But there are other chocolates that are kind of considered diet or healthier, but they don't have the name diet in it, if that makes sense. And they have less sugar and that sort of thing. But they have other flavors too. But you can find Calorie Mate like everywhere. It's like in Konbini and supermarkets. You can't miss it. Vitamin drinks. So there are a lot of vitamin drinks in Japan, and you can find them again at like any Konbini supermarkets, some even in vending machines. One of the most well-known is a vitamin supplement drink is Oromin C. It contains isoleucine. Am I saying that right?
I don't know.
Isoleucine and many other essential amino acids. as well as many vitamins such as vitamin B2, vitamin B6, and vitamin C. And from what I understand, it's doesn't taste very good.
Yeah,
but
vitamins.
Yunker is a health tonic similar to Lipovitan and produced by Sato Pharmaceutical Corporation in Japan, and it was first produced in 1967 and is widely available at drugstores throughout Japan. Yunker contains Chinese herbal ingredients and caffeine and is marketed to the Japanese workforce to combat fatigue. And this is like 5-hour energy in Japan. Because this is like this tiny little bottle and you just down it and you're supposed to like, woo, let's do this. Yeah. So, and these are just a couple examples. There are so many different vitamin drinks, and there are ones that are kind of considered to be more medical and ones that are considered to be more
delicious.
Yeah. Well, like you're supposed to drink them if like you feel like you're getting down with a cold or you're sick or whatever, and supposedly it'll make you feel better.
Okay, right. Yeah.
Like I guess like a drink form of airborne, maybe more fun. I don't know. Bubbles. I don't know. And then other ones that like give you energy. And there's also a lot of like jelly energy drinks. Like they're these little packets that have like little like, you know, jelly cubes in them, and they're like different flavors and stuff like that.
Sure.
It's supposed to give you lots of energy. So
it's like one step from pill form, right?
Yeah.
Take these energy pills.
Yeah, basically her products that she brought are supposed to give you energy and tie you over. Like Calorie Mate is like, I don't have time to have a meal. Calorie Mate.
Right. I've got to stop the terrorists.
Right. So
we're running out of time. Have a Calorie Mate.
Yeah, exactly. Feeling engaged, we rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. The daemon in this episode is named Hykun. So when you say the word volleyball in Japanese, it's bodyboru. Bodyboru. So it's like, it's similar to how the English word sounds. However, I found out when I was doing research for this, some schools use kanji for their sports clubs or for clubs. So haiku is the way that you pronounce the kanji for volleyball in Japanese. However, it is not commonly said, and it's not necessarily like if you weren't in like haiku club, you wouldn't necessarily use that term.
So what's the kanji for volleyball? A little stick figure jumping up?
So the two kanji, there's two kanji for haiku. And the second one on its own means ball, and the first one of the meanings could be to line up. So you could kind of like in volleyball, you're kind of lining up at the net, or the net could be kind of seen as a line. So, I mean, I wouldn't read it as line ball, but I could see it as, and it is possible that maybe they adopted it from what it is in Chinese as well, and they just kind of gave it a Japanese pronunciation from the Chinese.
Yeah. If you are importing words, you have to... watch me just speculate into space here.
Okay.
But you have to pick obscure things, unless you're going to invent... It's a pain in the ass to invent something new, right? There's thousands of these things, and even fluent speakers don't know them all. Yeah. So you have to pick something that's probably not used for a lot of other things, but yet people might recognize, and then you just stick them together, right?
Yes.
So you go, this word means rose, and this word means ball.
Yes.
And so it's rose ball. Right. And people go, okay, all right, rose ball. Oh yeah, that's the baru. Got it.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah. Something like that. I mean, I just find it
you and your little picture words.
Wow.
You love them.
Talking down.
You love them.
I just think it's interesting.
Why couldn't you just be conquered by a boot that then gave everybody your language?
No.
And then a little bit of crazy blue-faced, painted face people in there too. And then what the hell, some Italian.
Don't you think that like one reason why they were able, I mean, obviously they were able to close the country is because they are an island and they're so far away from mainland Asia.
They are the Galapagos Islands of culture.
Right.
The Galapagos Islands are that way because species from the mainland were trapped there once the seas receded or grew, I guess, in this case. And so they developed completely on their own.
Yes.
Until Admiral Perry sailed up and said, all right, turtles, you're going to... No, I don't know.
Oh, no.
Start playing volleyball.
Oh, no. Turtles are getting taken over now, too.
Turtles are being targeted.
No! Don't target the turtles. So, Haikyuu's name is Haikyuu with an N at the end of it. So her character design... She has light blue skin and like black stripes around her shoulders, which just as her skin or something. And wrists. I'm not sure if she's actually wearing the sweatbands or not.
Would it
if this
kill
is all painted on
any one of these girls to wear a shirt?
Yeah, I know.
That's all I'm saying.
I know,
it's
right?
Like just design something. We'll take the shirt off.
Right.
Coco Chanel style.
But
get out there.
But I love that,
I'm not saying that Coco Chanel ran around without a shirt on. I'm just saying.
No.
You turn around in the mirror, take off your shirt.
I know what you're doing. Yeah, right. But she's not wearing a shirt, but they made efforts to make it appear as if she was in some ways because she's got these black stripes, but they're not sleeves.
No, I know.
There's no fabric.
Yeah, there's
and
like
then
sleeve tattoos.
A number 4 on her back.
Yeah.
So it's like she has a quote unquote jersey on, except her boobs are freaking volleyballs.
Yes, they are.
It's like, come on, you guys. And I can almost like just picture the animation studio being like, well, we just gotta make her boobs volleyballs. I mean, because if we don't, people are going to be like, well, missed opportunity, right?
Yeah. Kenta, is your briefcase full of Polaroids? Sexy Polaroids? Why are you suggesting this?
Yeah, right.
Is the number 4 for death?
Probably.
They could give her any number and they gave her 4.
I bet you're right.
But they gave
for
it
death.
In Arabic numerals because that's, the girls probably had that on their backs for international competition.
Jerseys. Yes,
so
exactly.
They're like, this is there's a double layer of language in this joke.
You're absolutely right.
It actually doesn't even make any sense if they're Arabic numerals, but that's the joke that we're doing.
Yeah, well,
I'm gonna give it to them.
That's how they read that. That's one way how they can read Arabic numerals as well.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah, they're worldwide. But I'm just saying it's not the Chinese character that is also deaf. They're like, we're doing a 4.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But yeah, and she's got pointy ears, blue eyes, auburn hair that has like a kind of like a little pink binder. It's pulled back, and she's wearing like black bluma. It looks like.
Yes, she is.
Remember when we talked about that way back on like episode 2? Whew. And a white headband that has stuff on it, that has words on it. But more about that in a minute because the words actually change throughout the episode.
Oh, okay.
So we'll come back to that, put a pin in it. And white high heels for some reason, which you don't really see until like just right before she dies. So I don't really get a good look at them. It almost looked like it was like wrapped bandages, like her fingers, like her thumb, her index finger and middle finger on her right hand are like all bandaged because she's, hitting the volleyball and hurting her hands so much.
Yeah. Well, also for maybe like grip too.
Yeah, that's true too.
Traction.
Right. So maybe she's not hurt. But anyways, she's got a large red circle on her face, which has to represent the Japanese flag.
Right.
Yeah. And she's got gold whistles for earrings, which I just freaking love.
Yeah. She has like stars in her eyes too.
Does she?
She has starry eyes. So normally you would, I think in this episode, Mina's waxing romantic and she has these kind of like different kind of very full sort of eyes.
Okay,
and so it's kind of like that, but she's literally got like a 4-pointed star in the middle of her.
I didn't notice that. I'll have to go
eyes.
back and take a look at that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So she's got stars in her eyes. She wants that gold.
That's right. And she's got gold whistles on her ears, but she wants that medal. And of course, her star tattoo, which you talked about, is she puts her thumbs together, and that's the like she's about to hit the ball.
Yep.
I love that. I think that's such a great touch. So the messages on Hykun's headband, it initially says "certain victory" in Japanese. But similar to Toden last week, the headband changes throughout the episode several times depending on what's going on. At one point it says annoying. At another point it says wicked. And then I think when she's scared, she's like freaking out, she's about to get killed, it says frightened. And then when she dies or whatever, it says defeat. So I think that's pretty great.
Seems like when she's serving the ball, I'm using Google Lens, it says win.
Okay.
Or
so there's probably even more.
Yeah.
Or a certain victory.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's like the first one, like really early on, and then it just starts changing. So, yeah, and then she, as she dies, she says, Nippon gan gan gan. So, yeah, go 3 times for Japan, which I love. And now we're up to her rating. I like that she has orbs of light, which she uses to, quote-unquote, play volleyball, especially when the pure heart is put in it, and, like, the Senshi are they're just freaking, like you said, why doesn't me hit it? I don't know, but I love it. So it's fantastic. I do like her design despite her volleyball boobs. I'm not crazy about that, but what are you going to do? Somehow she can control the volleyball orb, which she is quite proud of. And just like, I love all the sports terms and stuff like that. And my favorite, though, is the showdown fight between her and Venus at the end. I just think that's fantastic. So I'm going to give her 4 out of 5 dark stars.
Nice.
I never know what that means.
She doesn't, it's not, it's reminiscent of like a shell bra, like the Little Mermaid. But that's not what it is.
Mm-mm.
Her boobs are volleyballs.
That's the way I view it.
She has volley boobs.
She does.
And that's going to set you back.
Mm-hmm. That's why I took a point off.
Yeah.
At least one.
If I hadn't heard Kiro Kiramura before this and learned about the rich history of the Japanese volleyball team, which will be coming soon to a Cineplex near you.
I can't wait.
We're going to crack up that movie. That's going to put it at a floor of 3.
Okay.
But I would love to go lower because this is totally one of those situations where you really went for the theme.
Well, okay.
And,
I see what you're saying.
This is a disaster. This is oh no. You would get sent home immediately. Well, Kim Gunn wouldn't even let you walk with this. This is the end for you. But that being said, a pretty effective Yoma, smart.
Yes.
There's the conceit of knocking a ball around, which we've pointed out doesn't make any sense because it's like, no, just give us that. We don't want to play ball with it. But she's smart enough to like put the heart within her attack, so it's like just get killed by the attack because you don't want to kill this little boy's heart.
Yeah,
you don't want to do that,
right?
Although Uranus would have done it.
Cold-hearted Uranus.
Yeah. But yeah, like that. Like the number 4. I love the Baruma callback.
Yeah.
And the whistle earrings is like somebody was like, "Do I do it? Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm gonna do it."
I know.
I gotta go home. We're having lunch. So they went whistle earrings. So game recognized, game set match 3.
Okay.
Her patriotism gets her a 3.
All right. That's fair. The flag on your face is a lot.
Yep.
Now we're at Farewell, My Lovely, where we rate the way the diamonds go out. Well, she screams in terror and then yells, "Go, go, go, Japan." And this judge gives her 4 out of 5.
Okay, Adam Sessler from Attack of the Show over here. Or sorry, X-Play, excuse me. This is the very definition of a 3. This is completely average. And also it's almost incomplete because she does not yell lovely when she dies.
Right.
She yells, "Go, go, go, Japan."
Yes.
So this is like the I guess this guy got a D-, but this is like the guy in Bill and Ted when they're all doing their reports and the football player's like, "The future is computers. Just technologies." Set Nemus High School football rules! And everybody's like, "Woo!" And it's like, it's a crowd pleaser, but that was not the assignment.
I understand.
So I'm going to give her a 3.
Okay.
But yeah, enjoy the patriotism. And interestingly, maybe it's because she has to say, "Go, go, go, Japan." But this is the first one that did not seem like it was longer every time, as I always say.
Okay.
This one was just like, she screams, heart comes out, get it done. Go, 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 Japan.
Yes. No, you're right.
Little different.
It was very short. It was brief. Yeah. So, I enjoyed the difference, but so now we're moving on to Subu or Dubu, where we talk about the most interesting differences between the sub and the dub. In the dub, Hykun's name is changed to Hykun. So they just took out an A. And Asai's...
Just call her volleyboobs.
They're not going to do that on a kid's show.
But the Hykun doesn't mean anything.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
All right.
And Asai's name is changed to Jamie. And in the original, of course, Professor Toad told Kaori Knight his favorite sport was stair-stepping or stair-step. And in the Cloverway dub, he told her that his favorite sport was, quote, standing over his experiments. And that's it. And not a joke either. And in the Viz dub, he told her rhythmic gymnastics.
Okay, all right, getting closer.
They're trying.
Getting closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the dub, in the scene where Asai tells Minako that he had a crush on her, they significantly cut down the part where she's blushing. So when she looks super red, that's cut. And when she looks down at the ground, that is also cut. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because she's crushing on him? I don't know.
No one can have feelings.
Yeah, feelings. Not here. Not welcome. In the dub, Amara and Mina's conversation within the arcade only includes Amara saying hello, not telling Minako that she doesn't have her usual rhythm. Right. Which is too bad because that's a great line, I think. It just shows you that something's a little off. In the dub, Amara once again refers to Michelle as her cousin, because of course.
Right.
But otherwise, their conversation isn't changed too drastically.
Well, that's how subtext works, I guess.
In the dub, well, I should say it's not, it is all about subtext, isn't it? In the dub, when the diamond hurls Jamie and his girlfriend away, the scene where they hit the wall is cut. And then I do have one bit of trivia. When Sailor Moon appears to help Venus, she said, quote, "That was attack number 1 that punishes evildoers." And this is a reference to Attack Number 1, a famous anime and manga series about volleyball.
Oh.
And it became the first shoujo anime sports series. And the original anime series aired in 1969. A newer series aired in 2005.
Okay.
And the manga also came out in 1968, the same year as Sainwa V manga. So,
and they really jumped on this then.
Yeah, they totally did.
They just got right into this.
Yeah. And I think that attack number 1, of course, also has double meaning here because Moon Tiara action is Sailor Moon's first attack, and that's what she uses her tiara. That's what I think.
Yeah, it's perfect. Looking at the art from attack number 1, I think they use scenes from it, or at least imitate the art style for the documentary as well. the Witches of the Orient.
Okay.
So they make that connection.
That's really cool.
In the document. I can't wait to see this documentary.
I'm excited for this too. Let's hurry up and finish so we can go watch that. And now we're up to our wrap up and our rating. I like that Minako has a love interest in this who recognizes how awesome she is, and that's her own age. Minako takes the news that Asai is in a relationship relatively well and is fairly mature. I know she doesn't have much time to process it, but like the idea that there are some things that only I can do, and one of them is protecting people from getting hurt from these monsters.
Yeah.
And the study session scene is just fantastic because you can tell that Minako is trying to cover up her pain and uncertainty by like forcing herself to be excited and have lots of energy. I love her conversation with Haruka. I love the fight in this. I also like that Asai realizes Venus is Minako, and I love the scene with Artemis at the end. It's got to be 5 out of 5 roses for me because I really like this episode a lot.
Yeah, it's just 5 out of 5 for me too. I guess all the things that you said, but there's a level of maturity to this story and the stakes of the story that you wouldn't expect, and I don't think need to necessarily be a part of every Sailor Moon episode, but yeah, like it's just surprisingly deep, and it's also a bit of a surprise because, like I said before, and like, look, I'm not getting down on her. Like, she's my favorite character, but a character that's you think lacks depth, and then it's like you learn like, oh no, like she's as deep as anybody. It's just like nobody expects her to be deep, and so
right,
and she kind of believes that about herself, and so now she has to kind of deal with this thing, and she doesn't have any real context for it, even though, you know, she's the person who. Boy, if she hasn't figured it out, you know, this whole thing starts with like, I'm 14, I don't look like it, I'm a superhero.
Yeah.
But Usagi's not really touched by these things. You know, there's important things. When's my next meal? Where's Mamo? And that's kind of it for her. And so somebody who has, just because Mina has more experience as a superhero doesn't mean that she's figured out these issues, and we're really seeing her struggle with it. And, you know, I said that it was like a little depressing if... you know, like a cat's asking you to go on a date, but it is as I was watching the episode, it's that kind of scene where you kind of know that it's going to happen. It has to happen. And if it doesn't happen, you'd be disappointed, even though you're predicting it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So like, there's like, you know, 45 seconds left and she watches him walk away and I'm like, Artemis has got to show up. Right. And he does. And it's just like, yeah, it's perfect. And
he's taken a page out of Tuxedo Mask's book by like appearing somewhere up high and then giving her red roses.
Yes.
So
yes, I fully expect the series to end with Tuxedo Mask appearing on top of Mount Everest and being like, "That's it, we're done."
And we're done. We have topped it.
Leap down and attack. Yeah. So five roses.
My English title is Serving Realness, Uncertain Minako.
That's good stuff. Serving up realness. Clever way, but my own personal title is To Protect and Serve.
Oh, I love that.
And all cops are bastards.
Got this. Oh, okay. I wasn't thinking about it being a cop thing, but yeah, you're right. But no, I think that works.
Starting with Minako.
So this is our 100th episode. I'd like to acknowledge that at least briefly and say job well done. We're halfway through.
Oh my goodness. But like in a good way though.
But in a good way.
Oof, in a good way.
Yeah.
Never thought that we would be here. And here we are. I mean, you know, planned to be here, but now can't believe. Don't know what I'm talking about myself in the 0th person. Feel good. But yeah, feel good. And, you know, looking forward to the back half of this thing, I guess. Another 100 episodes.
Yes.
Thanks so much to to the audience and the listeners.
Yes, thank you.
And the patrons who have stuck with us and enjoy the show and share it with their friends and talk to us about what they like about the show and like didn't know how this thing was going to turn out, you know, when we started, but here we are, still going. So.
Yeah, we really do appreciate all the support, it's like you were saying, we weren't sure, you know, the reaction that we were going to get to this idea, and so we're so happy that you've come along with us, and that you're along for the journey as well.
Feel like Mina sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know.
Yes.
Like 100 in.
Uh-huh.
What am I doing?
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a superhero. What would it be like to be an ordinary person, you know,
right.
watching anime?
Not a podcaster.
But we've got to do this. But you know, when the ball is served, you know, I'm the only one that can do this.
Right.
And so we got to do it.
That's right. It's our special move.
And I'm glad that we do it. And then I go on a date with a cat. So. I did notice, slightly disappointed, but again, no worldwide market. There is an Attack #1 show.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, a live action show.
Okay.
So that's obviously an adaptation of the manga.
Yes.
Which I'm sure itself draws not directly from the history, but you know, draws from literally what was happening at the time. You know, these witches of the Orient, their words. Kicking ass at volleyball. So, and it's at 7.9 on IMDb out of 10. So
that's pretty high.
There's a hunger for this.
Yeah.
We got to crack up this movie.
Let's do it. Let's crack it up. Oh, like a vitamin drink. So
running out of time.
Next episode, we are talking about episode number 101. Usagi namida, tanjobi ni garasu no kutsu o in Japanese. Usagi in tears, a glass slipper for my birthday, the English translation, and the English title, Birthday Blues Part 1.
No!
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
I put all of Clover Way on trial.
They're like, have we done it? Did we wait enough to pull out the blues? Can we do it now?
Looking back, we could chart the entire degradation of this thing. Because we were like, what's up with these titles where they're like, tough fight, this is a tough fight, or whatever, you know, or like, not feeling good.
Right.
It's like, they are running out of ideas.
Yes.
They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then they're like, Birthday Blues.
Well, it's like almost like they're like, well, what did Deke do? Give me some Deke ideas. Get your
dinks out. And they went to the barrel, scrape.
Yep.
The barrel was empty.
Yep.
Birthday Blues.
Yep. Part 1.
Oh my God,
Cow.
so much so that they had to do it twice.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yep.
What a great way to start the second 100 episodes.
I know.
Of this show.
With a blues type.
I can't wait.
Part 1.
That's a good omen. Good omen.
Well, that's our show for this week, and the Name of the Moon will be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
Crack up that movie.